Welcome back to the group chat. We're joined today, quite luckily to be fair, we've got a man like Wrigz in the building in the studio. You've been in studio settings all day, haven't you, Wrigz?
Yep, been here all day.
So you've been going in all day,
working with
recording some music, doing some new visuals as well. So there'll be some new stuff flooding the scene just now. So eyes peeled. But before we jump into the music thing, we were just briefly talking before the camera started rolling about how it's been a minute since any of us have really had a old school traditional game night, quote unquote. And again, just kind of briefly what you were speaking on before, Marcel, what was you saying there, the type of games that you used to just kind of get involved in?
It's not even the kind of games I get involved in.
Okay.
It's one of them things that I feel doesn't happen anywhere near enough.
Yeah.
And it's underrated. It's one of them things you don't know how good they are until you actually, like everything now is online or it's from a distance. Yeah. To actually meet up with the lads and actually have a games night, like that's one of them ideas. You throw the shout out there and you get ignored. But you know, if you actually just go with it.
And it goes off.
We done one, I reckon it's probably 6 months ago now, just quiet Friday night, he was playing Monopoly, and myself at first I was like, what's wrong with these, play Monopoly? Like,
yeah, I haven't done that since you was a kid kind of thing.
But next thing, it's like 3 AM and emotions are high and board's close to getting flipped. I was so emotionally invested in that game of Monopoly. I had more fun doing that than any night out or like...
Yeah,
any night out. Well, that's me. I don't particularly enjoy town, but nah, Monopoly night goes off.
And what about yourself, Wrigz? When you were the kids and stuff like that?
No, I've not for ages, but my kids are getting to the age where it's time for them kind of games.
Yeah.
And I remember from a kid playing obviously Monopoly a lot. Frustration. Do you remember frustration? Where you bang the thing? Where you click the dice.
Snakes and ladders back in the day used to be.
Snakes and ladders.
I used to, remember the travel kits. So like if you ever used to.
Oh yeah, with all the little small games. Yeah.
You used to go on holiday and you get like 8 games and one little board.
Oh, okay.
You get like the chess and the checkers and stuff like that. I'm not great at chess. I'm not gonna lie, chess isn't me.
That's the only thing I play now these days. Chess with my friends sometimes.
Okay. It's a lot of strategy to chess. I feel like I'm hard. I'm decent. I know the rules and I know how to move across the board. It's just the finishing of the game. I'm slacking, to be fair. Checkers. I like checkers. I feel like checkers.
Count me out on both of those. I have no knowledge.
Checkers is good as well.
Checkers is good. And you know what as well? Shout out the Yardie man. Dominoes,
but you know what? I've never really got into dominoes myself.
That's a proper Jamaican thing. If you go to Yard,
I've seen me dad play it, but
dominoes, man, I love dominoes. I think dominoes.
I've never got into dominoes.
Spectator sport.
Spectator sport. So as I was mentioning, we are fortunate enough. I know you was lucky that you were in Liverpool anyway today, Rick. So it's timed perfectly. But we've been wanting to kind of sit down and have a bit of a chat with you and kind of just unpick a few things really. And kind of just catch up on your journey, so to speak. So one of the big talking points for me when I look at you, or what separates you, I should say, from other artists in the Northwest and in Liverpool or Manchester, if you want to look at it city by city, is the level in which you put so much of your person into your music. And what I mean by that is you're telling a very clear, or you're giving the people that listen to your music and your fans the opportunity to have a real insight into your actual personal life and the journey that you've been on in terms of fatherhood. And I think there are plenty of musicians that are out there that probably have kids and have got families and stuff like that, but it doesn't necessarily seep through in the music. And yours, it does. So from me and my perspective, I really just wanted to have a chat with you about fatherhood in general, really, and kind of being a positive role model for not only people in your community, families and stuff, but most importantly, your own kids. So, how old was you when you first had kids, bro?
I was 25, and I've just turned 34.
Okay.
A few days ago, so I was 25. So my eldest son is 8. Just turned 8, and then I have another son that's 5, and I have a daughter that's 1.
You've got a daughter that's 1. Okay, so how was that at 25? Because I wouldn't necessarily class you as a young dad then at that stage, but was you ready at 25, looking at your life? Did you think, yeah, I've got my house in order now to raise kids, and I know how I want to raise my children?
Yeah, in my own sense, obviously, I have my own personal, like, kind of value system and moral order, so I felt ready. When I look back now, I wasn't ready at all, but I felt ready, not in the sense of I've got my house, I've got just where I was up to in my life. I felt ready, and who I was with and the way I felt about the situation, and I felt, so like, I had my kids, I say it in one of the tunes on my latest mixtape, I say, I planted every seed on purpose, witnessed every birth. So every child that I had, I had the child on purpose. I didn't like, oh, you're pregnant. Oh, it was like, I'm trying to have, have this child.
So when you had that call or text or conversation, it might have, been in person, was that your first genuine reaction? Was that coming from a place of excitement, or was it, was there a little bit of anxiety?
It was like confirmation, because we just knew.
Yeah, okay.
So, because like, now if you try to have a baby, but if you just kind of intending to have a baby, then you just know. You know earlier, because you're aware of it and watching.
So for you, when did, just as a black man, so to speak, when did you kind of have that, like, or what was your relationship with your father? Did you have that relationship where you had a kind of blueprint to what your moral values and your kind of standards?
Yeah, to an extent, yeah. So I had my dad in my life, like, 100% from like the age of like 6, 7 till like 15, 16, and then obviously just on complicated levels before and after that. Yeah. But I had him solid 100% in my life.
And did that give you a good template then?
Yeah, so I'd say I relate to the struggle of people who have not had fathers or male figures in their life to an extent, but I can feel like the competence as a man that I've got from having my dad present in that phase of my life, and not just present, because it's not even just about your presence, it's the type of relationship I had with him. He was like he was young, because my parents are young, so my mum was 17, my dad was 18 when he had me, so we had kind of like a kind of brother type relationship. So we was close, and a lot of the things I learned to do in that period of time was from him.
Through your relationship as well. And I feel like you say that in a couple of your songs, that you feel like your kids need to have that alone time with you now as well, because you kind of want to replicate that in your own way, your own model.
Well, just to bring the balance, because the situation that happened, as we'll probably get into, I've not been in their life for the past few years, so it's like we need more time to create a balance, because right now they're gonna be like deficient in that same way that people who don't have their dad in their life. So to me, you need the extra time, extra energy to create a balance back for them to kind of catch up.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Because when I sit there, like, again, just when you look at your own life and when you listen to like your kind of music, you do end up reflecting on your own personal situations and your own circumstances a lot. And I think that's why it's music with a real message then, do you know what I mean? It can resonate with certain people on a different level. And I found that when I've been listening back through it, I'm sitting there, and especially when we're having these type, or about to have these type of conversations, I look at the relationship that me and Marcel have had since we was kids.
Yeah.
And I didn't know my dad when I grew up, and I didn't have that relationship with him. Now, fortunately enough, my mum got married when I was 8, and I consider my stepdad to be my dad, do you know what I mean? He's been in my life as a consistent theme every single day, and he's got kids with my mum, and they're my brothers and sisters. That's just how I see that situation. And up until that point, though, I didn't. So there's that 8 years of absence of a father figure, do you know what I mean, in my own life. And that was probably one of the things that I noticed about Marcel in the way he grew up. It was
mine's kind of
halfway.
In a way, the opposite.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it isn't. Like, my dad's always been there for us. I've never like gone without my dad, kind of thing. He's never been at least more than a phone call away, kind of thing.
Same.
But my mum and dad split when I think I was 7 at the time. So for me, I can relate to a lot of. I get there was a lot. I know at the time you don't realise it with a child's perspective, But with an adult's perspective now, looking back at me then, my life was a fuckery back then, and it's impacted, it's made a big impact on probably a lot of the ways I look at things today, and a lot of how I am today.
Well, yeah, but one of the things I always took from your situation, and again, that's from always considering it from the outside looking in, was if I could have made my biological father act in any particular way, it would have been in the mould of Paul Jonas. Because, as you say, it was... He might not have been a permanent feature in your household, but he was always that. The
struggles have been there, but yeah.
So, you know, if there was ever that, oh, Dad, I've had a shit day in school, can you come and pick me up and just, you know, I just want to be with you for a couple of hours.
That man went above and beyond.
But even from when we was kids, you know what I mean? Like, he'd literally come and pick you up, and then I'd be there with you, and we'd go to the Trafford Centre for a day, and, you know, he'd be there buying man collections of toy cars, you know what I mean? Buying out the store and shit like that from a young age, but like, just setting a good example, do you know what I mean? And being consistent in what he was able to bring to the table. He was consistent with it week in, week out, and I just felt, even from a young age, just looking at that situation, not like with a level of jealousy or envy or anything like that, but it was just, it can be done. So what is it in my biological that doesn't enable him to do it for me, kind of thing? So that was something I always took from that kind of situation growing up. So for you, in terms of how you've, you know, as you said, it's been a couple of years since you've been a permanent feature in your boy's life. How has that impacted you? What was that born out of, if you don't mind us asking?
What was the situation?
You get born out of in terms of, you know, you're not enabling to see them on a consistent basis, you're not being able to build that relationship and rapport with your own children.
To be honest, just like a toxic relationship with them all.
Okay.
To be honest, and uniquely though, it's not in any like physically abusive or emotionally abusive, not in any kind of normal sense. It's just the kind of way I intended to live my life, and I was passionate and serious about it, and at that time I didn't really know how to articulate my wants and needs properly.
Okay, yeah.
So
is that frustrating for you then?
Yeah, frustrating for me, but then she's dealing with it, then I'm taking it out on her.
Okay.
So eventually it's like I've got all of these different ways of life that I'm trying to live, and she's trying to just keep up with them all. And to be fair to her, it just got to the point where it's like I was being too inconsiderate, and it just drove her into the ground.
So just the way I wanted my kids to eat, the way I think, the way I value relationship with family, the way I just look at respect, and it has to be earned, and no one should get it for free, no matter their title. People don't feel these kind of things. Do you get what I mean? The wanting my children to be homeschooled.
So I go on, let you finish. I'll let you finish your thing.
And then
a big part of it is like just not
willing to like participate in a monogamous relationship, you know, just a one-woman relationship, and that's where like Showa comes into the picture. And again, not being abusive, very openly and respectfully, which made it worse for her when I look back, 'cause it's harder to deal with.
When you
so all of these things, they're not brand new. These was happening. These things and ways of life has happened in thousands of years before I was even here, so they're not brand new. But they're unique. They're unique in these times, and when you truly pursue them, it causes problems in your life. So then her family thinks I'm crazy. She starts to think I'm crazy. I'm not backing down. I'm getting even
more. The more people are showing they think I'm crazy, the more I'm
dedicating myself to the. Do you get what I'm saying? And then eventually, it's like, this is unfair on someone that's torn between her family. And eventually, she just had enough. She just needed to be away, or she's gonna go crazy. And now I understand that. I didn't used to understand that at all.
I think that's really refreshing. Personally, I think that's quite a refreshing approach to hear, though, from a man's perspective, anyway. The unpicking there for me is the homeschooling, because I've had this conversation a few times, and I personally haven't got kids. In an ideal world, in the event that I had kids, I would homeschool my children.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't think twice about it. And that to me shouldn't be a controversial statement, but for a lot of people probably watching will probably think, wow, these are mad.
Yeah.
Like, you've got a school down the road, or you've got a school there, or you went to good schools, why wouldn't you put your kid in a school? I would not if I had it my way, I would not put my kid in any formal education system.
Exactly,
full
that
stop.
was the plan for our kids, so they only started going to school after this started to happen. So
okay.
To that point.
And so in terms of the, Because that was one of the things when people ask me that, when I ask or when I mention that, people are like, what about the social skills that the kids aren't going to pick up and get? Did you notice that, or did you think, you know, for the time being, your kids still had?
He was more social than kids his age. I was going to school.
This is what I think as well. Because you've got a better...
This day, to be fair, so school or not, he's been a sociable, outgoing.
And how do you substitute that then? So what they don't get from the social elements of school, how do you substitute that into a home school setting?
Well, to me, I just think you'd go. So just for example, imagine you went to a boxing club, a chess club, a football. You went to a gardening school to learn how to do your own grow. Imagine you just went to them 4 things throughout the week. You'd socialise, meet a lot of different people, and then
from different backgrounds, different settings.
In school,
yeah.
The social. I wouldn't say school's a good place to go and learn to socialise, because all the social elements are suppressed. So it's not somewhere where you're allowed to go and just be openly social.
So one size fits all.
There's not a lot of true socialising going on in school. Anyway, if you ask me.
Bro, this was exactly that was my answer. I basically turned around when I've had this conversation.
I feel like with school, you're being told how to socialise.
Yeah,
as opposed to being allowed
level
to,
as well.
You know, be who you want to be, and if you're a loud, outgoing person, you're referred to as the class clown.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're quiet, you're bullied for being the shy kid. He doesn't, you know, I don't know, doesn't make you look at him, he's on his own kind of thing.
Good, this was the argument someone brought to me, but aren't those things, if you're getting bullied or whatever, isn't school the opportunity to give you that resilience? And my thing was, because yours was the chess, it was the gardening club, it was boxing, that kind of thing. My examples were football, drama, and a music lesson. If you did your core lessons as a tutor to do your core lessons, but after school you went and engaged in those things, team sports, so you're building up the qualities of actually knowing the benefits of working for a team with team goals and ambitions. At the end of the day, there's 11 lads on the other side of the pitch that are still going to call you all the names under the sun.
But you've got your own team.
You've got your own team backing you and saying, nah, the main thing is getting a W. We're going to win today. They can call us what they want. That builds resilience as well, do you know what I mean? And people, so...
That's a much better approach than sitting through half a dozen waste of time subjects.
That you don't...
History, geography, you already know at a young age. That's never going to benefit me.
No.
History, RE, and so on.
It baffles me, because when they're sitting to people like yourselves, and it just seems like the natural progression of how kind of people should take that extra responsibility of their own kids, and some people do it in the way that they do it as private school. You know, I want to make sure that I've got the money, I don't have to think about it, put my kids into a private school, and the curriculum that they put out for the kids is of a level that I'm happy for them to teach my kids now, do you know what I mean? And you'll get opportunities in them settings. But I think if you haven't got the ability, again, it's why I say it's in an ideal world I would do it, because I know the practicalities. It would be a full-time job trying to raise your kid in a homeschool setting and give them all of the attention and give them all the education that they would need. But I think it is quite refreshing that you kind of took that approach, and some of the learning. You mentioned there about the monogamous relationship. Give us a bit of an overview of that, really. Is that just you as a... but is that you as a person though, bro? Is that just you on an individual Wrigz level from 17 to 23, 24, I just found it difficult to be with one gal?
That's one element of it.
What are the other elements then that might be more
universal? The other elements is all I've ever seen is this like structure and design of relationship. All I've ever seen is it fail. That like the failure ratio of these relationships that we're taught to like pursue and build, they're too much. All our mums and dads, all everyone, and the things I've seen it put people through, men and women, what I've been through, I don't believe in it. So I'm not saying, and then the opposite to monogamous is polygamous. I'm not saying that I practice that. I'm just saying I'm not doing this. I'm searching in my life, but I'm not doing this style of relationship. What's ruined me before, I've seen it ruin my people. I've seen it ruin my friends. I've seen it's useless to me.
We live in England, bro. And English and the Western model is monogamy for all intents and purposes. And I feel like unwittingly, when we are kids, we get pushed the Disney narrative where women will grow up and a guy is going to rescue them from said household that was with their parents. He's going to drop down on one knee. He's going to rescue Rapunzel out of the tower, and they're going to live happily ever after. I don't think women have your type of mindset where, well, not to be fair, because they do, but broadly speaking, as a society, the norm is monogamy. So trying to convince other people that there are alternatives that can actually be more fulfilling is very difficult.
Definitely.
I don't think, because of the way we've ended up being programmed, I don't think people are prepared to...
He explains it in a very well-educated way. Like, obviously, it's something that you do truly believe in, so when you explain it like that, it makes sense. But I feel like to put that, so for one of us to put that to a girl,
we kind of laughed at, bro.
It's only going to be taken as you want to shag around. That's how it's going to be taken. Do you know what I mean? But to explain it like that, look, we're told to have a relationship in a certain way and it must fit these guidelines. But clearly that isn't the case. There'll be no more fail than don't. So it makes sense what he's saying.
Yeah, like I think a relationship should be structured specifically for each individual. So a woman that's grew up with no dad compared to a woman that's grew up with her dad. A woman that's grew up and was raped in her teens, for example, compared to a woman who's grew up and only had one healthy relationship. You can't have the same rules for these kind of people. Okay. So there's certain traumas that the female that's been through certain things might have, that she needs the relationship rules to be adjusted, or certain things need to be considered that don't need to be considered for the next woman. So every relationship should be structured for the person, and then it gives you like the incentive to really get to know each other.
But does that make it even harder then almost to find the right one for you, because people have got to have a really good understanding of their own personal demons, battles, backstories, unpack it, put it back all together and package it and say, now I'm ready to be with somebody.
Yeah, like you've got to reveal, you've got to reveal yourself. You've got to reveal yourself though. And if you're not ready to reveal yourself, you're not ready for a relationship, nah, at all. So then, and I think it gives people the chance to be secure, because say for example, this is the shape of a relationship and everyone's got to fit into this. But we're all different shapes. So that not being an example of your body, I mean like just you as a person, we've got to fit into this type of shape. But some man are just rugged like this. So now when he's got to get himself into this shape, he feels insecure. Now there's a man that really is this shape. He just walks into it and fits nicely. This guy's insecure knowing that I don't even fit into this because of A, B, and C. I'm too like just rugged. So now my man's worried about who does fit into this. Whereas if it was designed how I just said a minute ago, whatever your shape is, you mold it for you, and you're the only shape in the world like that. So you don't need to worry no more. You don't need to think, oh, is she gonna like him? Because you know she's with me based off my shape. I'm the only shape like this in the whole world. So even if she does spend time with, it's a different mindset in it. So the other one, I think it breeds insecurities and makes us weak in it, and that's what it's done to me. And again, I've seen it do it to important people in my life. Your relationship's making you weak, man. It's making you a weak person. Making you a bitter, weak person. I've seen it too much, but each to their own. It might work for some people, innit? But there'll be a lot of people that will watch this now, and deep down they're feeling it, but you can't say it, you can't address it. They know my relationship's draining me. They don't even know how to get out of it. And when I get out of it, I'm going straight back into the exact same one I was just in, because that's what we're supposed to do. Before people just take time and just be their self and mold a situation that suits you. Do you get what I'm saying? Before there's a man on tour with an R&B hit single out with 50 million girls trying to get to him every night. And then there's a man that works in the office with only 2 other men. And he's got to be the same level of faithful and not the same. He's got to they've both got to not look at no girl. My man's laughing. He's turned up to work and just be himself. No, the R&B singer's doomed. He's doomed, bro. Yeah, if you don't consider him and loosen up the rules a little bit. I'm not saying let him sleep with people, do all this, but if you don't loosen up the normal rules, my man's doomed. You're going to be on him every day. That's what I'm trying to say. It don't make no sense. In fact, it don't make no sense. That's why I don't deal with it. Because it don't make any sense, bro.
Nah, but you just made it make sense though on so many levels. Like, I genuinely felt for a second there, me and you could have just been so speechless for the rest of this and just deep.
I was ready to just carry on listening.
No, it's true.
This is like therapy right now, you know, I swear.
It's true.
Oh, no, when
Because I've said it too many times, bro.
No,
I've said this too many times.
I feel like I've said very similar things in the past. We've sat there and we've said, like, it is trying to fit and conform into something that, not to say that it's not you in any way, shape or form, but to try and fit into someone else's vision of that instead of being comfortable in your own and saying, well, you meet me where I am.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This is where I am. This is what I bring to the table. And this is what's going on in my life. And if you're happy for us to kind of share and build on that, then it's great. But if you're going to now have your own insecurities and offload them onto what it is that I'm doing and what it is that I'm going to try and achieve, that's going to have a detrimental effect on not only what I'm doing, but it's going to have a detrimental effect on us as a unit.
Yeah.
So I feel that 100%, bro. Again, how do you manage to get so much of that passion and kind of concise, is the way your music comes across, it's so concise. How do you manage to kind of channel it then, bro? Because for me, it's there's levels to, I think everyone knows there's levels to the music stuff, but I feel like that is just something that kind of separates you from a lot of artists.
Do you know what? I think it's at this point I've done it for too long, constantly and passionately for too long.
Okay.
And then you might have heard that saying, you know, about the 10,000 hours.
Yeah,
so like...
So for anyone who hasn't, given them a breakdown just in case...
Yeah, so like I can't even remember, I think it's in a mastery book, a book called Mastery. Yeah. And it just explains that you start to reach a level of mastery when you pass 10,000 hours of practice. Yeah. So I think at this point now it's like where I'm way past that, so I'm doing certain things just naturally. And then my recent music, I feel like it's stepped up a level and kind of changed because I've been educating myself so much and I've been studying words and I've been actually working on myself as a person as opposed to my musical skills. And so I've got more to bring to the table as a person, just on a mindset level, the way I feel about things. So that's where I'm at now, and how I can kind of express myself so clearly now because I've been actually working at it. Like,
and that's why, is that why it's titled Tough Love?
Tough Love. Yeah, tough love. Tough love is just like, it's something I just think, and naturally I embody it, and I plan to even more so as much as possible. Like I am that, and that's what my life's gone like. Tough love. It's never been no normal, simple.
Yeah.
It's always been tough, and it's what I believe in. If it's not tough, then it's gonna crumble, isn't it?
I think it's mad to have that kind of mentality, because I think probably one of the highest compliments I could give you as a musician would be the fact that I've said to people in the past, I'd love to make an album, but not for, as a musician, I'd love to make a musical album, but not for me and not for people to hear other than my future kids. Only for them to be able to listen to me growing up through turbulent times and whatever it is that I've gone through. And for them to, because when you get to a certain age, I feel like it is very difficult to translate to the next generation kind of this, you know, without sounding this is what it was like in my day, and you know what I mean, it sound overly preachy, but I feel like music transcends that kind of barrier, and that type of music is timeless. I feel like if you was to play that, if you play your music to your sons when they're 19 and 20, they will get the 25-year-old version of you come back to life, and it's like they've got the boy with them almost. And for a period of time in my life, I wanted that as a project, just so I could say, it doesn't need to go nowhere. I can just put it down, and the one day I need to pick it up and give it to the people that need to listen to it, they get an insight into who their dad really was. And I think you nailed it, but you managed to do it for other people as well, not just for yourself and your story. And I think that's really, really special. To be fair,
do you know what it is though? It's like it's almost like it was just meant to happen, because I started like really homing in on that element of speaking for your kids and thinking about them hearing it in the future. I started doing that because they was being kept from me, and I had no way of getting to them, or I couldn't communicate it. So on two levels, I was feeling like this is gonna send me mad. So one, I need to just express it and feel like at least one person's listening in it. And then two, like you just said before as well, like, you know, helping other people that's going through it as well.
100%.
But also, I can't even speak to them. So I can't even get my side of what's going on across to them. So it's like, I need to use this to express myself, and it's gonna be what I use to make a stance to show like, you can't silence me ever. Because it's now, like you say, I've got a voice to them now. Even if you keep them away forever, I still got a voice if I use this.
And that's what I'm saying when you say you'll be the 25, because like I feel like I always relate back to myself in that sense. Like if my dad tried to, or my biological dad tried to explain anything of why this didn't happen and that didn't happen. Now we're like, well, it's too little, too late. Car. I'm a grown ass man.
Yeah.
And you're nearly a pensioner, bro. So
there could have been any kind of struggle on his level, but it's never going to be accepted as that by yourself.
By myself. Whereas when your kids hear that, you've captured that in the moment of the struggle, but then also gave that balance, reflect. Like some men are just bitter and will be bitter for the rest of their life, bro. And like,
But that's damaged. What's funny, because when I listen back now, when I started this, because it's mad. When I look back now, I was actually truly traumatized, but had my own creative skills already, so it was able to just bleed out of me constantly. So I written and recorded and released 10 projects in 12 months, like non-stop, going crazy, and most of it is just the expression of this story and what we're talking about now. And it's funny, back to my point, because when I listen to the first project of them 10, I'm just more bitter and angry, bro. I can listen to the things I'm saying and thinking, yo, did I say that? And like, is that how I was feeling? But I was, though. That's how I was feeling. And then
is it like the stages of grief, though? Is it like the 7 stages?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what it's like. It's like you just see the stages and just like, it's like you see it all coming to light. It's mad. It's mad, but it's interesting because they're going to get to see me for good, for bad. The things I feel like I shouldn't have said, they're there now. It's too late. But I know I felt like it, though.
Feels a lot more balanced, though.
Yeah, it is, because the situation's changed.
Okay,
So then now the expression's changed, and not only that, even before the situation had changed, I'd changed. So I'd started to see where I'd been wrong, where I didn't see that before, and it makes the anger cool off, and the confusion and the chip on your shoulder. You start to realise that I've got work to do on me. Before I start saying, what did you do? What did you do? Like, even if they didn't do that, I was gonna mess some shit up if I didn't work on me, innit? So you hear that through the journey as well. You hear me start to say, like, it's fuck them and you're not fucking no to me. Start to say, oh, I might have been wrong, and then to say, oh, sorry, I was wrong, to say, like, you hear it. Not just that, though, because I'm making it sound like I was just wrong. It's not as simple as that. There's a lot more detail, but there's certain elements where I was just simply wrong and I didn't notice, and you hear it coming to light. So, yeah.
Again, refreshing, because I don't think...
It's hard to accept responsibility sometimes.
Accountability for shit. Yeah. 100%. Like, we've all been there, innit? Like, it is very difficult to kind of be your own biggest critic in that sense, and I think it is when you know you can do more, and it's not necessarily what someone else is doing it, but it is, as you're saying, what is it that I could be doing? People are a lot easier to deflect and look in other places to suggest, oh yeah, it could be done over there, or it needs to be done here. But when you actually deep it can start within you sometimes, and it's the little things, it's the little journeys for a lot of people where...
I think 9 times out of 10, it starts with you. Even the hardest situations to accept. Like, it's you, well, you've got to look at you, every element.
I got to a point last year where I kind of told myself, like, not in a way that I want to find any particular happiness or anything, but it was to stop being so unhappy. It was to stop focusing on the things that I couldn't control. If I can't directly control it and influence it, me spending too much time and energy and effort on it is never going to benefit me. So once I kind of, it took a little bit of while, you kind of got to practice it on certain things, but once I kind of got into the rhythm of actually just focusing on the things that I could control, I wouldn't say I started to become happier, but I wasn't as unhappy as I had previously been. So then it was, for me, it was like, well, I'm on the right track then. It's not a perfect model, but it's what works for me. And it's not like, because I know we were speaking before off camera, and you know, there's things going on in the world right now, but I've just got this tunnel vision, and it's kind of just, you know, me, the kids, everything that I'm doing. It's not, it wasn't so much, I just want to be tunnel vision and cut everything else off. But ultimately, if I can't control it, why am I feeling too much of a way about it?
Exactly, bro.
You know, I know you're similar to that as well, innit?
I take that with a lot of things. You never see me stressed. I could have very good reason to be stressed.
Yeah.
But why am I going to stress? Stress has never fixed anybody's problem.
Yeah,
Running around crazy, it's not going to make things better. Like, things are going to keep rolling regardless, so just go with it.
Yeah.
That's my take on it, and that for me,
Nah,
that gives me a lot of inner peace. And
Yeah.
I say, for the most part, I can.
No,
obviously, there's times when things get too much for anybody, but for the most part, that's
definitely
how I tend to
what
follow.
people need to learn now, man. You get me?
While we're on the topic of stress relief, abstinence. I know this has been another thing that you've I've noticed kind of trickled into some of the music lately, and definitely has been on your Instagram feed a lot. Now, what I take from abstinence straight away is the sexual context of it, and we'll get to that, but there is more to it than just that. So obviously, I just want you to kind of give us a bit more of an overview of it as a whole, rather than just where my head takes me when I hear the word.
Yeah, so when you hear, you're just associating it with sex. Like.
Well, sex with either masturbation or sex with somebody, a partner, whichever your orientation is, just sex, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a concept, and it's basically semen retention. So it's just not ejaculating and keeping your semen, because it's the strongest fluid and creative energy you have in your body. So we're in this modern culture where people
sex sells,
listen. At the worst, the people that are addicted to porn are ejaculating 5 times a day. That man must be. That man is suicidal. Telling you. I'm telling you. But listen, on a serious level though, so basically like, this is new information to me, so I'm not trying to be the master and the teacher of it.
Because as I say, when I've seen
but you can look further into it after explaining it, So basically, after you ejaculate, you know the feeling that we get, and you're drained.
So that's dopamine in your brain now, saying it's like the drug that you get when your phone and you're getting your notifications, or it's the drug that you get when you're on cocaine. It's that part of your brain now that's basically buzzing. And that's what becomes addictive, because those dopamine levels that kind of just feel euphoric almost.
Yep.
So then what happens after that? Is it a false euphoria?
No, obviously it's a real euphoria, because it's like a release or a fulfilling feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of levels to it. So there's the masturbation level of you're just getting there for nothing, for no reason, to the pinnacle, the peak, and it's teaching you a bad lesson about life.
Okay.
It's teaching you that you don't have to put in much work to get there, or there's a cheat code, or it's not giving you any type of longevity in your brain. And then there's also like the bodily level of it, where we're living in a depleted state. So like I was just about to explain, when you're feeling all drained after you've just ejaculated, that depleted state lasts for like 2 days, even though we don't notice it and we're not aware of it. Your body's physically depleted for 2 days because you've just ejaculated. That's how powerful it is, though.
Yeah, but I said this on camera before, I genuinely feel like I'm living on a deficit.
That's what I'm trying to say. You might be one of them 5 times a day.
I don't know 5 times a day. But either way, but on a personal level though, it's hard, because I'm like, or I want to question, how does it work on the reverse side of things then? If it can't be just a one-way street, so what is it for?
That's what I mean. Women's whole sexual structure and energy and their feminine core and all that makes their reality totally different. I'm sure there'll be some elements that relate, and they can't afford to just waste their, because we have a sexual energy in it. So to be just leaking your sexual energy changes everything. Changes how you'd work in the gym, how you'd picture your relationship, how you'd see women. Changes. There's nothing it don't change. And I can speak from experience, from practicing it now as well. And I've been I grew up too overly active, and now I look back and think I've leaked my sexual energy in every way possible. Literally, so I can feel the difference. But then what I'm trying to get to is, imagine, apparently it takes your sperm about 65 days or something to build its base back after you ejaculate, and then another 30, 40 odd days to complete itself.
So imagine now if once every 3 days you're having sex, you're living in a depleted state because you're nowhere near getting to where your whole flipping sperm's complete, but you're not even getting out of the depleted state
as well.
So you're living in it, and like I'm saying, like it will affect everything. It will affect your efforts at work, in your relationship, the way you feel in the morning, what you choose to do, the way you see yourself. It will affect everything, and you're living in a depleted state, though. That's bad. And then, where I learnt this from, they go on to talk about that's why porn's free and pushed on us so much, because it encourages the men to stay in a depleted state. So you're less in your superior, strong form. You're more likely to say, let me go and work for my man, without even a fight. You're likely to think, you know what, I know I shouldn't work for my man, I should build up my own thing, but come, let's go to work. Because you're depleted, man. And the opposite of that is you in your godly state of, you know what, I just had a thought of I shouldn't work for my man. I'm not going in ever again. I'm pursuing my intuition. I'm the superior man. I'm going to make it happen. That's the kind of thoughts and feelings you have when you're not in a depleted state. So it's not just about sex. It's everything. And until you do it, you're not even gonna realize.
So how long do you have to go?
It,
so it's pretty much like you're gonna have to go like nearly. That's like 2 months.
30 days.
He's just asking for a friend, you know. He's trying to count it up like.
I'm trying to be quick laugh. You're thinking, yo, when can I start winning again? This is like deeper than Monopoly right now.
Now you're gonna feel it after about 4 or 5 days, but apparently if you can get to like 30 days, you're gonna witness some different. That's what I mean. How many man? I'd never been until recently, as in like the last year, 30 days. Without busting a nut. I ain't done that since I was about 13, 14, bro.
I've been depleted since a child.
But this is my other point then, right? Bro, Wrigz, we get one life. One life now, Wrigz, yeah? And you tell me now you're going to give me this knowledge when I'm in the middle of like the prime of my life and you're going to say, now, Errol, relax and just jam it. You've done your damage for life now and just jam out, yeah? I only get one life, bro.
Nah, you don't jam out. Do you want me to tell you another element? What will counteract that energy?
Go on.
That your level of attraction. Say, for example, you went to a club and 20.
You're more potent when you've not busted nut out. Yeah, okay.
So if you're a man, say you're a man that struggles with girl, you're not gonna struggle. But say you're a man that already like quite a few girls are attracted to you, it's gonna go through the roof though. So
what is the end goal at the end of it then?
But it's about balance though. This is what I'm saying. So just don't be, when you're in your depleted state, you're the least attractive, even to whoever you're her favourite. You see, this is her favourite.
Who knows? There's a list.
Serious.
Yeah, favourite.
Yeah, his favourite, bro. I swear down, yeah. You just know, you can feel it, you can tell. And I don't even just mean like physically, I mean like in a conversation, you'll feel people magnetized to you though, compared to when you was depleted.
I've got a challenge for you then, Envy. Yeah? You get me back a diet plan for 30 days, and we'll see how that gets me, and you don't masturbate for 30 days.
I like how he's flipped this, you know.
And we'll come
how
back
about you do both?
How about no?
Are you just completely changed? You'll have the best version of yourself to give to someone in a month.
What are we lying for?
Try it, man. Trust me.
It is. So when did the penny drop for you then, so to speak? When there was that light bulb moment that not only, because I feel like you get through stages, like I'm one of them. I'm a natural complainer, so I'll moan when I don't feel like things are going right. But as you said before, you've got 9 times out of 10 things start with you. So when in my life I feel like things aren't going right and I'll be moaning, I only give myself a certain amount of time before that moaning has to become sort of positive. Like, I need a positive outcome now. I've moaned for so long, the only way it's going to change is if I go out of my way and make some action it and change it. How, like, when did that penny drop for you? That, like, people have been telling me, or I've been reading up on it and but now all of a sudden, the penny dropped for me and I can put it into practice.
I think I heard about it. I became like aware of it about 2 years ago, and I started to practice it like about a year ago. About a year ago.
Okay, and for you think it's, you're not saying you're going to be an advocate for it, but for you it works, and again it is more of it on a personal by personal
I'm
basis.
Still, what's the word? I'm still experimenting. So and that's how you gotta be with things. You gotta experiment. You gotta experiment yourself, or you're always just gonna be judging it and guessing.
Okay.
Based off your own calculations, and sometimes it's something that's outside of your own calculation because you've never done it or you never heard of it. You don't know anyone that's done it.
Yeah.
So there's some things like you've just got to try. So I'm just experimenting, but I've.
Do you think more people are waking up to it?
It seems that way, yeah.
Because I heard about it. I'm not gonna. I heard about it a couple of years ago.
It seems that. What's happening
I thought
is
it was funny. I laughed at the idea. I'm not gonna lie because I just thought
there's something called, and I only found out that this meant this yesterday. Have you heard of NoFap? No. It's like some online community, and it's about just not watching porn. How long you go for not watching porn? Because porn's killing people, bro.
Yeah, I feel like
badly. So you always have that like counteraction when something's really destroying people. You have that like there's only so far it can push them.
Yeah.
Before they think I need to snap out, man. I can feel the depletion. You get me?
For most people, it is.
So yeah, I became aware of it about 2 years ago, and I started really experimenting with it about a year ago.
You're still on that journey more than anything else.
Yeah. Like now I'm the furthest into it though I've ever been, and I can just feel it, bro. I can't even. And you see, like obviously you believe in the law of attraction and just energies and frequencies. This takes your law of attraction abilities to another level. Yeah, because you're alive and you've got your most creative force in your full. And it's sending the energy back up through your body. That's what I mean. You can all still have sex and just don't bust.
What?
This is what I'm saying, man. this is what I'm saying.
Sat up so then.
So go on.
That ain't even what that.
No, but then you're talking like.
Imagine when you bust, it teaches you to like. So a lot of men are having sex just thinking about busting. Imagine life. Imagine living your life. Imagine being in the habit of living your life thinking about the end goal and never being present and never noticing all the beauty and the presence in your journey, and you think all you do is just a goal, just goal. When you're in this ejaculating culture, yeah, all you value is that's what you're trying to get to. And then when you get to that, it's all over. Whereas if you got in the habit of having sex and not ejaculating, you respect the sex more in the moment. You're not just thinking, shit, am I gonna bust? Can't wait till I bust. Yo, should I bust? Let me just wait. You're not thinking like that. If you think like that in life, you're not gonna do as well in your ventures and all that, because you try and get to the end. And when you don't reach the end, and when you put out your first episode, don't get the views you want, now it's just like, oh, flipping heck. I didn't bust. Yeah. But you don't work like you gotta enjoy the journey, you gotta enjoy putting it up and no one watching it, you gotta enjoy every bit. That's what I'm saying. So, like, being in the habit of like exercising sex on different levels, it teaches you different habits in other fields of life. It's not just about the sex, innit? So then you'd start appreciating the moment and realizing it ain't about busting. Of course it is. It's kind of all about that, but that's the end goal, man. You
can't do it.
Yeah, imagine if it was just the end goal. The real beauty's in the journey. Imagine your favourite artist, all you knew was his shoes that popped off, you know nothing about his life before. No, that's dead. He's dead, you've killed half of him. That's what I'm trying to say, that's what it's like the mentality, we're like, look, so when I say it now, you're thinking, what, you can't bust? That's what I'm trying to say. So it's like, you know how many things happened before that? Like, your woman might be feeling that, might be feeling like, yo, this guy's just trying to bust. Do you know how many moments there are before that? That's what I'm trying to say. So just like trying to snap out of the same old, innit? And there is benefit. So back to why we was just saying that, like, you man, like I don't even know what specific people, I'm gonna end up sounding ignorant, but like, you know, like monks and all people from that kind of
carry on,
yeah. Them people practice this a lot and ejaculate up their spine, bro. So they get to the point of ejaculation and tense themselves up and send the energy. You have to practice it for it. I won't have a clue how to do this. But send the energy back up and feel a whole bodily orgasm, more similar to what women feel. That's why women can keep having pure orgasm, keep going, not finished, and you're done out. That's why, because they've got the more bodily one that can stay. Keep going, and some girl can do the multiple thing where keep going. Like, man can... Obviously not us from our... We could practice it and get in that type of condition, but there's other people from different times, different parts of the world. Life. They know about this, bro. They know about it. Oh, man, no, I'm doing a test tomorrow. I want to get all the search. This is a more simple one. Now you sound like a madman. But imagine masturbating, but not ejaculating, but getting to that point at that point, yeah, your brain's the most magnetic. So law of attraction works most at that point. So you might sound like, you might seem crazy that you're going to a job interview tomorrow with a man, yeah, and you decide to just masturbate. I'll get to the point of, you're not thinking about the man at this point. I don't know, each to their own, but you know.
No, I know what you're saying, yeah.
So when it gets to the point of you don't ejaculate, you just stop and you think, and you feel. Law of attraction, you practice it. So what you know about law of attraction, you're trying to think about it and feel it.
Got to speak it
out.
out.
Place to speak. Yeah. So do that at that point. Do that about 10 times. Let yourself calm down. What shit start forming in your life? This sounds like madman business, but this is the practices that our ancestors and the ancient people, this was standard. These kind of things were standard. And that's what I'm trying to say about the levels of this abstinence thing. And I'm not saying this is flipping gospel truth. You have to, so many levels of it. You have to go and look into it yourself. And not only that, you have to practice it yourself. But I'm speaking from a man that depleted himself extremely growing up for many years. And now I've practiced this extremely. People say if you get past 3 months, you go into a whole different thing. I've been past there.
I'll be honest with you, I'd seen it a while back, but never really thought too much about it. And then I seen it on your Instagrams, and when it was on them, for about a week, I didn't.
See?
For a week I read it, and I was like,
you know, your soul
I was like, my man's on it, and cause he's on it in the way he's deep in it, I was like, let me just see how I get on. And I just can't. It's not like I was practicing it, but it was
I'm secretly practicing it.
I'm gonna just try and like not think about it in the way that I usually would. You know what I mean? And I did. I got through. I must have seen this post on like a Sunday night, and I must have went from Sunday to Saturday, and I hadn't done anything or. Do you know what I mean? And I was like,
man, get your strength back.
Like I don't know if I would have seen enough time to have noticed anything, because considering the deficit that I'm clearly in, but I genuinely feel like. There's something to it, because again, you're not the first person I've heard speak on it, and it is, if you do your own research, there are people that will.
Think about it logically. If it's the seed of life, your seed that can create a person, bro. Think how powerful that is to have that in. Another example a man used is like when you're depleted, you're like a snake with no venom, because that's your venom though. So like you're not to keep it forever. Of course we've got to let it out, and you've got to think have sex, but it's like balance and understanding that maybe we might as human beings be more like lions and have like breeding seasons, and not we're meant to be having sex every day.
We're lions.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. So it's like just studying yourself and trying a few more. You get me? Try something different.
So in my mind as well, because he's a bodybuilder, I feel like that would have some huge gains for you in the bodybuilding world.
Because you keep all your testosterone, the build-up of it is mad. The build-up of your testosterone is mental.
There's pros and cons though.
Go on.
We're not getting too deep into the whole, the whole bodybuilding lifestyle.
Yeah.
Let's simplify this. We're not going, and let's just say there is times when it is a necessity. On a level so much more than what we do to ourselves and what goes on in the bodybuilding world. There's being steaming, and there is being like steaming. At the same time, there's the flip side to it. There's probably times where you could say to me, go a week without what I couldn't care less. I'd be like, I'll do two, but I probably wouldn't even realise at the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there's each extreme to it.
Again, I think it's finding that balance, though. It's definitely finding that balance. So, just again, before we wrap up at the moment, I know you've got the Tough Love project, that's volume 4, that's just dropped, that's just come out.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? What's the kind of vision now moving things forward, these next couple of projects, bro?
Yeah, but I just plan to build on the type of sound and direction I'm going in. It's still at its early stages, this kind of new style and lyrical approach and whatnot. It's at its early stages, so I just plan to keep building on it and growing it and practicing and filling the holes. I've not got my eye on the glory yet. Look, you can tell that I'm on this team because my eye's not on the glory right now. I'm more thinking about I need to get better. I can see holes in my game or where I could get better or know where I've not put energy in. So I'm trying to work on myself before I expect anything to happen like externally.
Okay,
so I'm just building on it. I've got projects and good strong music ready, so I'm gonna put it out gradually. Keep building, that's it. That's the plan.
Well, again, if anyone hasn't already checked out the project, it's on Spotify now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tough Love 4, Volume 4. again, and we were talking about it before, some of them tunes just hit too hard, don't they, some of the Marcel?
I'm not gonna lie, I took a moment.
Multiple liaisons.
No,
No, but you know what? Not just tough love for people who are just coming across me now, which is likely to be most people in these times. It's important to understand my musical journey and understand me. It's important to at least skim through them 10 CDs I was talking about. So it was from 2018 to now. There's like 12 projects. Like, to truly understand if there's any genuine interest, you gotta at least skim through them. And like Tough Love, look, it's at volume 4. A lot of people ain't heard Tough Love and Tough Love 2 and Tough Love 3, but they're there. You get me? It did start on Tough Love 4, so check it all out. It's all available on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify. You can even hit me up and get some CDs sent to your address.
It's a plug and a half. And lastly, back in the day, Rebellious Minds, am I thinking? Was that a little thing back in the day as well? Yeah. What was the motive behind that as well?
Rebellious Mind, because he's the guy who owns that brand's from up here, innit?
Oh, okay.
So I just started doing a few like collaborations with him. Released a mixtape called Rebellious Minds. That's the name of his clothing brand. Put out some clothes, done a few little shows and that. It's all right. All right.
Well, we're gonna have to get you back in at some point again, because I feel like there's still.
Podcast was an education.
Exactly. It was like
we went a bit too deep. We went a bit too deep. I'm not gonna lie. We did.
People will get it. I'm telling you, bro.
We took it a bit too far, though, didn't we? People are gonna be thinking, what's wrong with this guy?
I think people are gonna listen and be intrigued the same way. At one point, me and him were sat there like making a mental. Take really on board. Yeah.
Had to take note, but thank you.
I hope so.
Thank you for sticking around after your session today.
Yeah, man.
You've been at it from
cool,
early.
It's cool.
I know you and Kof have been cooking up some fire as usual, so
it's cool, man.
We appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in. MV, what are you saying?
Signing out.
Yeah.
Podcast, Marcel.
Edo, the group chat. Keep it locked.
Yeah.